Hi everyone, welcome to my channel or welcome back. I'm Kathy. I wanted to do a short video on you never know what people are going through. So, and probably everyone's heard that saying, and I know it goes around on social media pretty regularly, that we just don't know what people have going on. And so, to be kind, be gentle with people, to show grace. So what happened to me a few days ago, which brought this to mind and was a reminder for me, was I was at work and I was having a bad day. And so I was venting to one of the supervisors. She's probably 25 years older than me. And so I'm venting and just, and I was pretty worked up, and she was really good at, being comforting, and she has kids, several kids, and, they're all grown and everything, but she was very comforting and, just like, okay, take a breath, we'll figure it out, whatever. And she was kind of on the same page as me with the stuff I was saying and just frustrated with. And so that was my day. It was, I was pretty worked up. It was good to get it off my chest and everything. Good to vent. Hopefully some changes will be happening. But come to find out the next day, and she talks to me a lot about what's going on. She recently lost her husband and that was just really hard. It was a long, really bad illness, and she was taking care of him and all this stuff. I know all about everything. And so when he finally passed, it was just, and it still is really hard for her. So she'll tell me when she comes into work, just whatever's going on with her. So she comes in the next day. I was like, oh, hi, how are you? And she said, she hardly slept. It was the day before was the 2-month anniversary of him passing, which that was the day I was, having a bad day. I was like, oh gosh. So then I felt really bad, like, oh man. And so she said she hardly slept. She had to take some of her medication to calm down. She was very upset. And I know how it is, definitely, with, each month that goes by. And then when you get into the holidays and the first birthday without them, the first, Father's Day, anniversary, this, that, and the other, everything. It's just really hard. And so she's telling me, this morning she woke up crying and she could hardly get out of bed. And she did come in an hour or so later than normal. And she said she could just she had to take more medication to be able to function and to calm down. And she's told me, she's had panic attacks and just pretty much hysterical, like crying and being upset. And so there's all that. And so I was thinking, oh man, now I feel bad that, the day before here I was, saying my stuff and venting and doing whatever, which in hindsight, it probably could have waited. But you have no idea what people are going through. And and we talk about a lot of stuff, and she'll come into my department and either help out with things or be organizing or whatever she's doing. And we'll be talking about this and that. And she's been at this company for a long time, like over a decade. And so, sorry, that's like crooked. It's kind of bothering me. So yeah, I was like, oh gosh. But I mean, she's very understanding. She's a very kind person, all that. And then she came to me later that day and she's like, "Can I vent to you?" I was like, "Yeah, you listened to me the day before. Oh my gosh, please." And so she told me what was on her mind, and we kind of went back and forth a few times throughout the rest of the day. I would tell her, "Thank you, for listening to me yesterday, letting me vent and all that stuff." And then she would say, "Thank you for letting me, come to you." But yeah, you just never know what people are going through. So this is, like I said, it's a reminder for me. This might be a reminder for someone out there that you're going through something, and sometimes you have to pray for protection. Like if you're going into the grocery store, if you're going into a retail establishment or the bank or the post office or whatever. I had to do that a lot after my mom passed, and I was just like, oh my gosh, if anyone even looks at me weird, I'm gonna just burst into tears and it'll be all bad. And so I did that a lot, praying for protection and strength and those two things. But also keep in mind that people we come across, like at the grocery store or the bank or the post office or the mall or wherever, the doctor's office, the school where you pick up your kids, whatever it is, maybe someone lashes out at you for no reason, or is really rude or abrupt or short, or any of those things, mean, whatever it is. I mean, we just don't know what people are going through, and some people are just like that. They're just mean. They're not nice, and that's how they are all day, every day, which is really too bad. But then there's people who, maybe just lost a loved one, or it's the anniversary of them losing someone, or their pet, or maybe their car. Someone just ran into them, and now it's this whole thing, or a hit and run, where, you don't have the insurance of that person to pay for it. So now you have to contact, just all that stuff. Anything can be happening in someone's life at any time. Yeah, there's so many things. I mean, just think about life, and, you wake up each day, maybe the hot water heater is going to break in your house, and now you have to deal with that. Or maybe your sink flooded in the kitchen and now there's water everywhere. God forbid any of those things happen. But as we know, that's how life is. And I can look on the floor and there's a water leak down there that we need to have looked at. And I mean, thank goodness, things just didn't burst open and everything's flooded all over the place. But yeah, you just don't know what people are going through. So if this is a message for someone, maybe someone lashed out at you, maybe just keep that in mind. Like, okay, maybe they just found out their spouse is doing stuff that is not cool, or maybe they found out they're getting laid off on Friday or something like that. So, all right. Well, I just wanted to do a kind of short message on that. So hope everyone's doing well. Let me know what you think down below, if that makes sense. If you've had people, lash out at you, if maybe you found out down the road that, oh, that's what was going on with them. I mean, there's usually a reason, but all right. Well, I hope everyone's well. God bless, and I'll see you in the next video.